Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. This is the July 20th edition of the Carolina Weather Video, and we're transitioning now from the very unsettled pattern we had over the weekend to more of a sort of typical summertime pattern, albeit an above average temperature summertime pattern with only a few late day storms each afternoon and lots of heat and humidity. Here's the radar imagery this morning. Some complexes of storms back into the plains and the midwestern states. That's near a frontal boundary. That's kind of the dividing line between the really hot and muggy stuff and the more pleasant conditions that's really contained up around the Canadian border region back into the Rockies and the western U.S. These are dew point temperatures, and that 70-degree dew point line is draped right through the region, and it's a muggy start to the day. These are the dew points as of the 5 o'clock. Actually, these are 4 a.m. dew points on this map. All right, here's the watch warning advisory situation. I wanted to show you the heat advisories that are now creeping up into eastern North and South Carolina and also eastern Georgia, Tennessee Valley of Alabama, back into the Memphis area, and parts of the Plain States, and we're going to see a lot of these heat advisories beginning to spread throughout the region as we go through the next 5 or 6 days. Here's the upper air pattern today, and the heat beginning to build. What's going to happen is that big ridge that's across the southern part of the country becomes the main influencing factor. Notice what happens here by the time we get to Thursday. There's our friend, the 594 decameter ridge, and in fact, on some models, such as the European and the Canadian, we end up with a 597 decameter ridge sitting over the Carolinas. It's going to be pretty hot. This is a look, though, as we get toward early next week, and a lot of the modeling is on board with breaking down that ridge and swinging a trough in, which would break the heat a little bit by the early part of next week. But we have some heat to deal with between now and then, beginning today. Mid-90s for lots of our high temperatures this afternoon, and we've now shifted to the pattern where we're looking at really just a few afternoon storms on most days, especially, say, mid-afternoon into early evening. And you know the drill. Lots of lightning, some damaging wind gusts, some heavy rain with the storms, but they're going to be relatively fewer in number than what we saw over the weekend. So mid-90s today, mid-90s tomorrow with a few late-day storms. We go into Thursday, same deal. Mid-90s, even some upper 90s in some spots. And then I think Friday and Saturday, probably the peak of this wave of heat. There's Friday, here's Saturday. I think both days a lot of Piedmont spots will make it up toward the upper 90s. Some spots probably clipping 100, and it's going to be very muggy, so we're going to be looking at heat indices eclipsing 105 at times as we get deeper into the week, and that'll probably trigger some heat advisories farther inland as we go through the next, like I said, 4, 5, 6 days. Now, begins to change a bit Sunday and Monday. It looks like a weakening front tries to drop in Sunday, so a little better chance for showers and storms Sunday and Monday with that front dropping in. And assuming the modeling is correct with breaking down that ridge, the heat would back down a bit by Monday and Tuesday of next week. All right, let me spend a couple of moments here in the tropics. There is the graphical tropical weather outlook from the National Hurricane Center as of 2 o'clock this morning. There's our main area we're watching down near Puerto Rico. And let me pull up the satellite imagery on it this morning. We're looking, and it's nothing at all terribly organized still, but we're looking at this general area. A lot of the computer model guidance does try to pop at least a weak tropical system out of this. This is the spaghetti plot from our friends at Colorado State. And notice the general west-northwest trend should continue. The GFS is one of the farther north models. The Hurricane WRF is one of the farther south models. Let me give you a few of the select model frames here. This is from the Canadian. It really strengthens the system, which is sometimes a bias of the Canadian, with over-strengthening these systems. But either way, it takes it up to a decent tropical system, heads it towards South Florida later in the week, and then what's left of it heads toward, say, Pensacola or Mobile thereafter. That's the Canadian. This is a look at the Hurricane WRF. Like I mentioned, this is one of the farther south models. It takes this into the central Gulf. Finally, the no-gaps near the mouth of the Mississippi River. Eventually, again, there's that spread in the computer model guide. It's not a developed system yet. I don't think it becomes one immediately, but like I mentioned, a lot of the modeling does eventually develop this into our next tropical system. So we will certainly keep an eye down that direction. Remember, tropical updates at 21 and 51 minutes past the hour on News 14 Carolina. All right, that's it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thanks for watching. Have a great Tuesday, and God bless.